Good day. So this is Bahamas. So I am here again for afternoon tea. So here is the question. Let's say that decompose the fraction x plus 2 all over x squared minus 9 into a partial fraction. First of all, before we solve the problem, first of all, we first have to interpret the problem. Like fraction, you all know what is fraction. It's talking about a number that is divided into another number. So in this case, but in this case now we are not talking about partial fraction. Partial fraction is a fraction that can be broken into different parts. That can be, it means like a fraction that can be broken in parts. So in this case, let's say that we should break this into, decompose means to break it into partial fraction. Now there is a step of breaking it into partial fraction. We break it into partial fraction whereby the denominator won't be able to be factorized. So in this case, we have solution. We have x plus 2 all over x squared plus 9 is equal to, now to break this into partial fraction, this will now be equal to, this will now be equal to x plus 2 all over. Now if you look, the denominator can be factorized, which will now give you x minus 3 all over x minus x plus 3, or let's take it one after the other. This will be x squared minus 3 squared. Now if you do factorization, the difference of square will now be x plus 2. The difference of square will give you x minus 3 times x plus 3. Now in this case, you are now going to bring this into partial fraction. We have x plus 2 all over x minus 3 open and down bracket x plus 3. Now this will now be equal to a all over x minus 3 plus b all over x plus 3. What we are now going to do, we are now going to add this. We look for the value of a and b. We are going to add this. This will now be equal to the LCM of x minus 3 and x plus 3 will give x minus 3 and x plus 3. Because finding the LCM, we have x minus 3 and x plus 3. Now in LCM, when we are using table method, what we are interested is to divide it, each of them, and reduce them to the lowest part, which is 1. So in this case, we can start with dividing x minus 3 before the other one. We have x minus 3. When we divide it, we give 1. X minus 3 divide x plus 3. It cannot go. So what you just do, you bring it down, x plus 3. You will now come again. This one has been reduced into the lowest end. The next one is this one. We have x plus 3. Then x divided by this divided by this now gives us 1. So you now bring out the ones outside, multiply them, is the LCM. So that is how I got the LCM. So you will now add this and this. Now you will divide the denominator by you will divide the LCM by each of the denominators. Now this divided by this x minus 3 will cancel x minus 3. What left is x plus 3, which will give, we now use it and multiply a. We have a open bracket x plus 3 plus, now this divided by this will cancel this. What left is x minus 3. Now say b times x minus 3 will give b open bracket x minus 3. Now we can start, we open the bracket. This will now be equal to x now we now start. We have x plus 2 all over x minus 3 and x plus 3. Now we open it. We have x, a times x will give ax plus a times 3 will give 3a plus b times x will give bx. then b times minus 3 will give minus 3b all over x minus 3 then x plus 3. Now look at what we now do. Do you know this fraction is equal to this fraction, or this fraction is equal to the sum of the partial fraction? So in this case, to make life easy, we cancel the denominator because they can cancel through cross multiply, they can cancel. So in this place we have x plus 2 we now give. Now what we now do, we have ax plus 3a plus bx minus 3b. We have x plus 2 will now be equal to, we now bring the one that have this, like x and x, we bring them together. We have ax plus bx plus 3a minus 3b. So this will now be x plus 2 will now give us, if you look at x is common in this place, because for we to find the value of b, there is what is called identical equation. Now equations are said to be identical when they have the same, that is when they have the same power, the same exponent. So we want to make this to be equal, that is to make this to look like this. So what we now do, if you look at this, x is common between the here and here, so we have to factorize it. We now have a plus b open bracket x plus 3a minus 3b. If you notice something here, now this now look like this. Now in this case, what we will now do, here is x, here is x, so this place is equal to this place. Now in this case, we will now equate their coefficient. Here the coefficient of x is 1, and here the coefficient of x is a plus b. That means that a plus b as the coefficient of x is equal to 1. So we now have equating, we now say equating coefficients. We have a plus b will give us 1, equation 1. In this case we have, now if you look at it, this should stand as a constant, and if you look at it, there is no x here. That means 3a minus 3b is also constant, so it's equal to 2. So we now have 3a minus 3b will give us 2. 3 is constant. This can be written as 3 open bracket a minus b is equal to 2. We divide both sides by 3. A minus b will now give us 2 all over 3. Now look at, we now have equation 1 and equation 2. Now we have to, this is now a simultaneous linear equation, and these are two linear equations. Now we have to find the value of a and b. There are different methods in finding value of a, in solving simultaneous equation to find the solution, that is the value of a and b. Now we have elimination method, we have substitution method, and we have graphical method. Another method can be used whereby is matrix, but in this case let's use elimination method. In elimination method, one have to go for the other to surface. When the other one have surfaced, we now use that one and go and look for the other. In this case, we have a plus b is equal to 1, equation 1. We have a minus b is equal to 2 over 3, equation 2. Equation 2. Now what we need to do, we are now going to eliminate. If you notice, for which we are now going to use elimination method. Using elimination method. Now, using elimination method, if you like, we can kill b and get a. But in this case, everybody normally eliminate the first, then and use this one. So what we now find this one, what we now need to do, If and for me to eliminate the coefficients of a, if we want to eliminate a, the coefficients of a in equation 1 must be equal to the coefficients of a in equation 2. And if you look at this now satisfies that their coefficients are equal, so we can eliminate a. This will now be a minus a will give 0. Now, because we have subtracted equation 2 from equation 1. Now, b minus b will be equal to, remember that minus times minus will give plus. This will give us b plus b, which will give us 2b. And there will now be, this will now be plus 2b. Now 1 minus 2 all over 3. This will be 1 minus 2 all over 3. 1 over 1 is same as 1. So we find the SM of 1 and 3, which will give 3. 3 divided by 1, 3. 3 times 1, 3. Minus 3 divided by 3, 1. 1 times 2 is 2. This will now be equal to 1 over 3. So we have 1 all over 3. Now 0 plus anything is that thing. Anybody plus 0 is that person. Even me plus 0 is me. So what you now need to do, don't mind this 0. Or you had it, it will still give 2b. This will now be 2b will give 1 all over 3. Now in this case, we are now looking for b. This b must stand alone. We divide both sides with the coefficients of b, which is 2. Because 2 must be taken from b for b to be alone. Now, look at what we do. We divide both sides by 2, which is the coefficient. This will now be, b will now be equal to, now this is written as 1 over 3 divided by 2, which b will give you 1 over 3. If you do division of fraction, when you change multiplication, you must change multiplication to division to multiplication. This, you will now take the inverse of this, 1 all over 2. This will be, will now be equal to 1 over 6. Now we have gotten b. We now go and get a in any of the equation. If you use equation 1 or equation 2, you will still get the same answer. So let's use equation 2. Okay, or let's use equation 1. From equation 1, we have that a plus b will give us 1. Equation 1. We have our a plus, our b is 1 over 6, we give 1. We have that a, we now give 1 minus 1 over 6. A, we now give, if you 1 minus 6, look at, there is another way of doing this. If you say 6, if this have no denominator, we say this times this will give us 6 minus, you now this one minus this one, the 6, bring it down. Our a is now equal to 5 all over 6. So we have gotten a and b. We will now go back to this place. Arrange it. We now have that. We now have 5 all over 6 over x minus 3 plus my b is 1 all over 6 over x plus 3. Now, if you know how to work your fraction, this will, from here, if you follow the same rules of division of fraction, this will give 5 all over 6, open bracket, x minus 3 plus 1 all over 6, open bracket, x plus 3. Now see, therefore, we have that x plus 2 all over x minus 9. The x squared minus 9 will give us 5 all over 6 over x minus 3 plus 1 all over 6 over x plus 3. So this is the problem to the solution. Please subscribe and share. Remain blessed as you do so. Bye.